Hi, everybody. Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days and 5 minutes. And Sunday night, the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast is back at 7:35 p.m. And it looks like the week ahead is going to be a busy one as far as severe weather is concerned. First in the middle of the country, and then maybe shifting to the east for the second half of next week. So we'll talk about that and the long range Sunday night on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. And that is going to be at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time. We have a new storm system that's come into the west. This is going to be a player as far as the weather going forward for next week and beyond. And to the east, some flood watches up in Oklahoma. We're seeing some fog in parts of the Gulf states, and it's a rainy day in the Appalachians, and some of those showers are beginning to approach the Northeast. They're already in parts of the northern mid-Atlantic states, but at least the day has started off with some sunshine across New England down to about New York City and Long Island, but clouds are on the way. There's not a whole lot of thunderstorm activity going on with this weather front. We're not really expecting much in the way of severe weather out of this. We also have some clouds and showers and thunderstorms moving across the same areas that they've been impacting for the last several weeks from Iowa down into Oklahoma as the weather system moves east from there. And then you can see the stronger storm system that's coming in to the west coast. Radar as of 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We'll give it a look here and some light showers in southeastern Pennsylvania, southern New Jersey, down into Delaware and Maryland. That's moving away to the northeast. They're scattered across Virginia, a bit more numerous in western Virginia and in eastern Ohio. Also, more numerous from central North and South Carolina down into southeast Georgia, and also some rain in North Georgia up into the southern parts of the Appalachians. Further to the west, we've got some showers and a couple of thunderstorms rolling through eastern Iowa, and then some scattered showers further south, at least at this time from Missouri down into North Texas. And in the west, you can see some heavy rains that have come into California and parts of the Pacific Northwest. The Storm Prediction Center for today has a marginal risk from Illinois and southeast Iowa down through Missouri, across Arkansas, and into Oklahoma. And then you see a slight to enhanced risk in southwest Texas, and that comes with elevated tornado risk up to 10%. And in that hatched area of 10%, there's a chance that we could see some EF2 to EF5 tornadoes. Now, for Sunday, a small area of marginal risk in eastern Ohio and western Pennsylvania, general thunderstorms into southern New England and upstate New York, on southward down to Florida. Uh, and we have another marginal risk area across Texas into Louisiana, and then back up into northwestern Mississippi, all of Arkansas, and eastern Oklahoma. Day three, which is Monday into Tuesday. Now, this is going to be the beginning of a series of heavier risk events. And the first forecast from SPC, which is carried now from was in the long range. Now it's come into their short range. It's light to an enhanced risk from southeastern Nebraska down into Oklahoma, including much of eastern and central Kansas. I would not be surprised if, when this plays out, that we wind up seeing a moderate risk for severe weather, as well as elevated tornado risk for Monday. And I always say that when SPC's got severe weather in the long range, it's a good idea to pay attention to this because it seems like uh, they're fairly sure that there's going to be at least some severe weather. And we have a 15% or an implied slight risk for Tuesday into Wednesday from Arkansas northeastward into Indiana and western Ohio, Illinois, southeastern Iowa, and much of Missouri. And then as we go to Wednesday into Thursday, which is day five, they also have a rather large risk of 15% from northeast Texas, northeastward into the Ohio Valley. And while on day six, they're not indicating any risk further to the east, I think there's a chance that we could see some severe weather risk later this week from that west coast storm system that is coming in right now. Rainfall over the next 7 days across the Northeast, about a half inch in Maine, except eastern Maine a little less. and then it picks up to 3/4 of an inch to an inch and a quarter, pockets of an inch and a half in upstate New York. And then you have a solid area of an inch and a half from Pennsylvania south into western South Carolina, northern Georgia, and across the Gulf states, northward throughout the Tennessee and Ohio Valley, and much of the lower and parts of the middle Mississippi Valley. Also, some heavy precip up in Montana and into western North Dakota, large area of an inch and a half to 2.5 inches plus, and also in the northwest from the mountains from the Sierra Nevadas in California and Northern California up into the Cascades, and in the higher elevations there, it's likely to be snow. Now, up until now, or at least for the last number of weeks, we've seen a deep troughing in the western part of the United States, and we've seen severe weather event after severe weather event. And here's a map going back to Thursday, where you see an upper low that has lifted up into southern Canada. Now, here in the east, we've got a weak shortwave that is coming through for later today, tonight, and Sunday. It's hard to see it. There's a little bit of a kink in the flow from Michigan down into North Carolina. But in the west, you see this wrapped up animal that's moving in the Pacific into Northern California and Southern Oregon. That upper low is going to set up another storm that heads up into Montana, and that's going to be the severe weather trigger on Monday for the areas in the Central Plains. And then as we go through the week, the upper air changes a bit, and some of that energy starts to redevelop to the east across the Great Lakes, and then swings to the East Coast Thursday and Thursday night with a rather strong trough approaching. So it's from this that I'm thinking that maybe we could see some severe weather risk in the parts of the Great Lakes, the eastern parts of the Ohio Valley, and perhaps in the Mid-Atlantic and in the parts of the Northeast. I think it'd probably be more favorable for inland areas than along the coast. So taking a look at the surface map to see what's going on in the short range, we have an onshore flow. So temperatures today are going to be in the cooler 60s, especially with clouds moving in. And then we'll get into some rain or showers tonight into tomorrow. It's not a widespread, everybody gets rain all at the same time. It'll be more like showery rains with some breaks in between. And there could be a couple of thunderstorms in the mix too. That system's going to play through Sunday night into Monday morning. We'll get a break on Monday. There's a lot of Gulf moisture coming out of Texas and Louisiana and Arkansas. Some of that moisture is going to try to move in Monday night into Tuesday morning, with some lingering showers Tuesday afternoon. And then we have a stronger system in the Great Lakes that brings in a chance for showers later on Wednesday and Wednesday night, and a more well-developed low behind that heads to the Great Lakes. And this is where I think we have to watch for the possibility, perhaps next Thursday or Thursday night, for showers and thunderstorms, and maybe in some areas a bit of severe weather. Meanwhile, just to go back up in the west, you can see this strong system moving in. Heavy mountain snows in the Sierra Nevadas and up into the Cascades, mountain snows and valley rains then translate their way eastward as a strong low heads up into Montana and then runs up into southern Canada. You see it there at 977 low on Tuesday on the North Dakota Montana state line. The trigger mechanism for Monday and possibly Tuesday severe weather events from the Central Plains and then on eastward into the Mississippi and eventually into the Ohio Valley. So a rather busy severe weather week is definitely ahead. And again, we're going to cover it all tomorrow night, Sunday night on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. And that's at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time. So have a great weekend, and we'll see you tomorrow night.